towards this article started from the repeated opposition by all forms of media. No day was complete without the hashtag EIA2020. How is this draft policy going to affect the biosphere reserves of my country? What is the need of a technical expert committee when state governments are able to function well in it? Why should a democratic government cut down the voice option by naming strategic projects? Why an efficient and strict act is re-engineered? Is it a good ethics to say polluters pay principle? A lot more questions raised. Answers to all these questions arises out of analysis. So let's start. Vedandangal Bird Sanctuary, the hamlet of hunters, is also the nest for 40,000 rare birds migrating from different corners of the world. The local people usually maintain a good relationship with the birds as they understood the link between the birds and the productivity of their crops. They take it as a responsibility to protect the sanctuary, even though some companies, including a pharmaceuticals named Sun Pharma, is located at its border. Now, it claims for expansion, which will snatch 60% of the sanctuary space. Besides this, we have the Kodagu district of Karnataka located in the Western Ghats, which is the home for coffee and pepper trees. By the way, government is planning for 7 highway widening and 2 railway line projects, which will lead to the massacre of those production activities and ecosystem. Simultaneously, NH4A widening work from Belagavi to Goa costs over 1 lakh of trees in the thick evergreen forest of Western Ghats. Then comes the Amazon of Eastern India, Deheng Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary in Upper Assam. It is the home for 50 species of mammals and around 359 species of birds, including white-winged wood duck, a critically endangered species according to IUCN. The pristine Lord of Patkai comprises of ethnic tribal groups of Khamti, Singpho, Moran, Motok, etc. The National Board for Wildlife Standing Committee approved the usage of 98.59 hectares of land from the reserved space, in which 41.39 hectares was unbroken. This act will disturb the ecosystem as well as livelihood. How these issues of development versus ecosystem is related to EIA? The answer is not only these issues, but all the environmental claims awaiting appraisal will get clearances if EIA 2020 draft is implemented. With comparison to EIA 2006, it gives environmental clearance certificate only after scrutiny of the land by the state government officials, screening and continuous monitoring by them. This rejects various projects affecting the environment. By the way, the present draft provides environmental clearance certificate even while the project is on progress. This draft allows post-facto clearances too. Also, it transfers the role of scrutiny by state government officials to the technical expert committee appointed by central government. This transfer of role may not provide a chance to locals to voice out their opinion. The ministry says that in case of violation of rules, penalty payment as a solution, but the previous act on 2006 orders a permanent halt on the industry. Also, the draft reduced the period of time for public consultation, which may yield opposition from varied areas of issues across the country. In addition to this, it is considered as a wrong move to reduce the time period of public consultation. In consideration of these changes in the draft, environmental impact assessment can be a boon in the sight of businessmen expecting incentives and wanted to gain back the losses forced due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These relaxations will be a contributor towards increasing the ease of doing business in India. It will definitely ensure the production of electricity quantity. All these has a contribution in moving India towards USD 5 trillion economy. But I wanted to know the cost to be paid to gain this. At what environmental cost are we going to gain a good economic position in the world? It will surely cost the lives of numerous people who are purely dependent on environment and the people who are going to force the climate change in the long run. I think Environmental Impact Assessment Draft 2020 will stimulate the industrialists to make optimum utilization of the available forest resources, which will make great cost. It clearly shows EIA will allow the expansion in Vedantangal Bird Sanctuary. NH4A will be implemented in Kodagu. Coal extraction can be done in Deheng Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary. Beyond these, many projects can be implemented which provide irreplaceable environmental cost. In short run, we can see growth in business in all the industries which extracts raw materials and develops itself. But in long run, it is not a successful option to do so, as we may exploit the non-renewable energy. Development is all about satisfying wants with scarce means and maintaining the means to increase our wants. Gandhiji has rightly said that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need but not every man's greed. Economic growth at the cost of overexploitation of natural resources is totally immoral. Think.